So what is up, guys? You got your boy Jess Sticker here today, and today we're here to talk about Penelo and her newly acquired force and burst weapon for the anniversary. Now, there's been a lot of discussion, obviously, within both communities, both global and JP, whether or not Penelo's a solid FR choice for the anniversary and whether or not she holds up to the title of being a considerable unit to pull. Now, obviously, as the anniversary, she's going to definitely have a little bit more of a cracked kit because typically anniversaries when you bring out the big guns. See last year's JP anniversary, for example, where we got two absolute meta bombs back to back. But anyway, let's just kind of give our thoughts. I want to give my thoughts about a few things that really bring more discussions to the channel as opposed to content like doing clears and stuff, because I feel like everybody does that. But we don't really talk about, I don't really see too many videos talking about, you know, like things that happen inside the community or reveals or anything like that. So that's kind of the thing I want to kind of focus on from now on. So anyway, let's talk about Penelo. So Penelo, as you guys obviously see here on this title screen right here, got a FR burst as the anniversary thing, which is amazing. That's great because I don't remember if I'm hearing this correctly, but I wasn't sure if Global was done doing the first thing, because I remember them saying that they were done doing it for after Garnet. I don't remember though. I could be completely wrong, but I don't remember if that was a thing or not. I remember someone saying that that was the case, but again, take that as a grain of salt. Don't say that as fact. I'm not really sure if it was. If someone knows definitively, then feel free to let me know in the comment section, please. But I remember them saying that after Garnet, that was like the last thing for the Global first, and it was like, wow, what a big reveal, because Garnet turned out to be absolutely stupid. But anyway, let's talk about Penelo being an anniversary unit. Now, admittedly, I will say this. I was not anticipating Penelo. Everybody thought that Yida would be the anniversary unit because of the data reveal, the Datamine reveal that happened in JP a couple weeks back. So what happened was there was some data found for Yida on the JP side, and then it suddenly was removed. No context as to why. And also, it was also found out that in the recent banner on JP, I think it was Quistis' banner, my bad. I think it's either Quistis or Namat banner. I don't remember at the time because I'm kind of doing this like freeform. But it was either Quistis or Namat's banner where Yida was featured, which, if you guys know the general rule of thumb, most characters don't be ran back after being featured that quickly. There's been some odd cases where a character might come back maybe like a month or maybe like a 2-month gap. But since this is literally current banners that's up in JP right now, there was no chance that Yida, that data that was found for Yida, even though it was pulled from the game, was going to be the anniversary reveal. We just knew that for a fact. He was like, well, rip, that's Yida out automatically because she's featured right now. And other characters were featured as well in the banner. So we figured that, well, since that data was there, could it go to global? It did not. Obviously, it was just data that was just placed into the game, and it's the same thing as other characters who've been placed in the game, and it was not come to be true. I.e., Riku's data being in the game, Angio's data being in the game, still not in the game yet, etc. But do I think Penelo should have been an anniversary unit? I mean, it really just depends on the player and the perspective. To me, not my first thought, not my first, you know, immediate guess, not my first real excitement. But if you're a Final Fantasy 12 fan or you do love Penelo as a character in general, then of course you're going to be excited. So I won't take that away from you. I will not take that away from you from being a Final Fantasy 12 fan or somebody who enjoys the Final Fantasy 12 games. Her alternate costume is from Tactics 8, is from Tactics 8-2, which literally means that's all of our Tactics content for the entire year. Thank you very much. Anyway, jokes aside. I do love the alternate costume though. I do love this art. It looks very, very cool. If I was still spending out on it, I'll probably buy it day one because it looks really nice. It looks like a nice alternate costume. I like it. I like it a lot, which is it's gonna grow on me for sure. Anyway, the weapon design choices also look pretty cool. I do like the weapons. I do love how they look. I do love the names, and yeah. So now let's talk about Penelo's FR. So Penelo's FR is of the following. It removes party debuffs, it recovers party HP, grants party brave, restores one use of both her skills respectively, is instant turret, and has a starting modifier of 150%. It is a non-damaging FR. Now, let me talk about many reasons why this FR is actually good. First off, let's look at the conditions. The conditions is a 20, 25, 25. If you have 10% buffs and brave and HP regen. Those are some of the most easiest conditions because Penelo fulfills all of those conditions, and this probably makes Penelo the best generic FR in the entire game now. If you guys don't know what a generic FR is, it's generally an FR that is used that is beneficial for all three party members without you having to break any sort of backs or do anything super crazy. And it's basically just use the FR and everybody gets that max percent without really having to worry. Prime examples of a general FR is someone like Lilith, for example, because you don't have to do anything super crazy to make the FR better. You just have to use it, which is great. This automatically removes all issues. Also, Penelo has an additional bonus to guarantee you that you stay at 75%, and that is party debuff removal on cast of the FR. Now let's say if you're running a little bit more limited buffs, right? Granted, she does give you a lot, and she also gives you frame buffs of her own with the LD, which is the thing. But let's just say you get dispelled and you get replaced with debuffs, right? Since she can remove on cast and simply just do her S1, S2, because she has uses to recover now, so even if she runs out, you still have a use there when using the FR. And also when using the FR while she's in force time, she has 125% gain if fulfilling all the conditions. Like, come on, dog. That's actually insane. That is super nice. Because all you really need at that point is just to set up the nuke with Penelo's BT, which admittedly she does have a nuke for it, and we'll talk about that. But I will say that this FR is really good. I'm not sure why there was some people who said her FR was just like super bland. I mean, it's a safe FR. It's safe because it's generic. It's something that is easily fulfillable without you having to make any big investments. It's not nothing that's gonna be like, holy shit, this is the best thing that's ever gonna happen. No, this is a safe and consistent FR. Therefore, you can't be mad at that. You can't be mad at a safe and a consistent FR. You just can't be. You can't be mad at that. Like, there's no way that someone's gonna say this is a bad FR considering how easy the conditions are there to fill. Like, they're so easy to fill. So hypothetically speaking, this is a good FR. It's good. Best? Maybe. I mean, it's best in terms of generic, but in terms of like using nukes for other things, then yeah, it could be a different pick there. But ultimately speaking, I think this FR is great. And if you're going for just FR and Penelo and not going for the burst, then this is still a good FR you can choose to have. So there's that. Now let's talk about the burst. The burst is Resplendence, which is one of the quickenings that she has access to in Final Fantasy 12. And it is a attack that has 5 dumps, does not break the target, but it does have a nice cap. It does not consume her own brave, which doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things because it's not actually really needs a brave for anything outside of just fills. But let's talk about why she is a consistent nuker now. She's a consistent nuker because 1, BT escapes the 2 dump curse that is basically on 90% of the game's cast outside of characters like Tidus, Yuna, you know, Zack, you know what I mean? Those who have multiple more than 2 dumps, which is, you know, I wish there were more of, to be honest. So I'm glad Penelo's another one. Thank God we got another one because I'm tired of seeing 2x dumps on a burst. When they attack, especially when the attacks don't look like a 2x dump, like they just don't. Oh my God, don't get me started. I'm gonna rant. But anyway, when her BT is activated, she gets a new transformed HP attack plus similar to other characters, i.e. Machina. So it's a one-hit melee brave HP attack that's repeated 7 times, which is basically that's great. That's amazing. With 180% overflow, decent. That's solid, and it basically gives you all of her buffs from both her skills. It extends any of her active buffs by 1, which is fantastic. And like you like, you can't make this up, man. This is a solid nuking attack. Basically, you can go straight into, well, not really straight into, but you go straight into your FR, you S1, S2, 2 or 3 more times, which is, you say 2 or 3. 2 if you're doing by Sid range and you're not running selfie. 3 if you do have a selfie. And that's 375%. Then you're getting a consistent 75% after, and you just spam her HP attack plus the amount of times that you need. Obviously, you won't get a full one, so maybe you might want to fit that last action with using her EX instead, because you're gonna, I think her burst effect, it says right here, it's 8 turns, I believe. So 8 turns, you do 3, and then you get 5 of the transform HP attack off. So that means you just simply EX first, then actually you EX last, my bad. You EX last, because that way you get the maximum out of your uses for the HP attack. But that's 75% for each single action, which is a lot. That's a lot for an FR. So I do think that this, in terms of it being a stable damage dealer supportive thing for Penelo, definitely can work. It definitely can work because this is a one hit that's repeated in its splash. So it's basically a much better version in Machina, which is, again, very, very good. She also has a lot of Brave Recovery and also heals on attacks too. Healing on attack, depending, is useful. That's definitely going to keep you, at a good enough point to where you can get the missions with HP requirement. Some of them can be a little bit tricky. Admittedly, some can be a little bit tricky, especially with like poison auras, and you have to make sure you're managing your heals well and you're managing your effects up. So if anything, that's something there. So that's definitely gonna help. And it also refills your EX gauge by 20%, which is good. It's basically the equivalent of a normal skill. And yeah, so her burst effects, right? Her burst effects is Brave gain plus 50%. She has better overflow with 30%. She has 50% Brave damage up, 20% HP damage up, and then 30% HP damage, HP cap up. So again, pretty standard BT. 30% cap up is always nice. Nothing really to write home about the burst either. It's just a standard BT. It's a standard. A lot of what Penelo got is a standard, but it's standard enough to the way to where it works where Global performs. Now let's talk about the biggest thing that why a lot of people are deterred away from Penelo, and that is echoes. Now obviously, FR Echoes coming global next month. So after anniversary, you guys are going to start getting echoes, with Garnet being the first one. But since you guys got Garnet first, it's probably just going to be a rerun of her banner. But yeah. Anyway, so let me talk to you guys about whether or not this is a good or bad investment. Now, again, I'm no one's personal account manager. I don't think that what I should say should be your direct influence as to why you should pull for Penelo. For me, if I was a global player and I wanted to look at Penelo, I would say she's definitely worth pulling just off the concept of her being a consistently good support within these buffing options. And her FRBT effects do seem to be very good for where global is at currently. However, a lot of people are saying, well, echoes are next month. Why pull them when I can't use her next month? Technically, yes, you can. FR Echoes is not something that you have to have literally month 1. No, you at least have a good couple months before you actually need to start running FR Echoes. They do not escalate the boss's HP for yet another couple to few more months, depending on whether Global wants to surprise us with something unique. But you do not need to do that. You do not. So do not feel like you have to skip Penelo because you just want to start saving up for Force Echo characters only, which of course is every character ongoing when Garnet starts to release the next month after anniversary. So do not feel like you have to skip this character just simply because of that. Just don't feel like that, because that's not true. You can get away with using normal force weapon characters up to maybe the 2nd or 3rd month. And that of course depends on your roster and the content at hand. But sometimes you may just need to bring out the FR Echo characters. And it's not like you can't not run Penelo with Echo characters either. It's not like you can. There's a technicality in which you can. because you can simply just FR with her to start, which by extension is going to be instant turn rate, go into her BT HP tag plus, and then echo with the other two characters that you could use that are also FR echo characters, which will not take away from the 9 turns, which gives you free more percent for Penelo, which means you could potentially make up that 125% loss by sufficient for a 75% plus the other percents they gain from the other character. So that's not really a reason why you shouldn't pull for the FR. I just don't think that that's the reason you should not do that. Like I don't think that that's the case. I think that she's a perfectly fine character in terms of where global resides. I want to make that clear before anyone gets any misconceptions and say, well, you said something horrible. You said she might not be good after Force Echoes. No, that's not true. She's gonna be very much fine. She won't have as strong as a dominant run like Garnet did, because there's not something that's completely power creeping after the fact. You know, Garnet was released at a relatively safe time when it was just only so much, it was only so much that you just had to get, right? Even with FR, she was still consistent. So yeah, she was pretty much released at a safe time for her to have a strong dominant run, but Penelo probably won't have the same run because Force Echoes will eventually become a little bit more required when HP starts to get a bit more spongy, when you start to see, you know, 300-400 million HP bosses, but that's completely in the future. So, but let me know what you guys think about Penelo in the comment section below. I do think she is a fine anniversary pick character. I have no real objections against her. While she's not my most hypest choice, she's definitely something that does perform well, and she's gonna be looking pretty good once she comes out in global. I can already tell just by looking at the kit and the amount of damage that she does. So let me know what you guys think about her in the comments section below. See you guys next time. Peace.